said, a tough game in awful conditions, a defeat which would have been by a lot more if it was last year's all-goal squad, so credit and attitude of the squad to dig in and roll on Keighley on Sunday. Come on, you all-goals.
And the final fixture in League One saw Doncaster beat the Coventry Bears by 26 points to 4.
Yeah, and Ethan O'Gorman got in touch. He said, so much for summer rugby. Both sides started the match well, but it was Doncaster who scored first. Some bad ball handling by both teams, much needed to improve. Bring on the Crusaders next week.
Okay, so into the NRL then, Mark. It was opening weekend for the Australians. On Thursday, the Sharks were beaten by 18 points to 26 at home against the Brisbane Broncos. We saw Canterbury Bulldogs.
Hold on, anything to say on your Sharks?
I haven't seen it, to be honest with you, so I just read the match report.
Okay then.
So,
sorry.
No, nothing further.
I assumed you'd watched it.
No, I haven't yet. I've not. I forgot to get my subscription.
Did you?
For Premier, yeah, which I realised on Thursday morning when I saw the scoreline plop up on Twitter. So,
right, okay.
Yeah, no, nothing to say, but obviously not the greatest to start. We didn't start particularly well last season either, and we ended up winning. So I'll take that, Mark. I'll take that. We'll see how we get on. The Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs were beaten 6 points to 12 by the Melbourne Storm.
Yeah, James Graham racked up 40 tackles though in this one. I watched a bit of this on Friday morning when I was having my breakfast. And then I went up to have a shower, came back down, and it was when I went upstairs, it was perfect sunshine, it looked like. When I came down, it was absolutely torrential biblical rain.
Right.
And everyone was drenched wet through.
There you go. Okay. South Sydney Rabbitohs was beaten at home 18 points to 34 by West's Tigers.
Yeah, Sam Burgess with 103 metres and Tom Burgess with 104 metres, but the big storyline coming out of this one is Greg Inglis's season looks to be done before it really got started.
ACL gone, hasn't it?
Needs a big knee reconstruction.
There you go. The St George Illawarra Dragons were 42 points to 10 winners over the Penrith Panthers.
Yeah, and we talked about the bar being set by Gale, being met by Williams. Well, Gareth Widdop did his best as well to get up there. Yeah, he scored two try assists, 7 goals from 7 attempts, 107 metres on his stat line.
Okay.
And we had a couple of reviews, Tom, as well. We had the elated Frogmore. He said, had to do a non-Super League review. St George, the team tipped for the wooden spoon, beat the team favoured for the Premiership. Are they?
Are they? By who?
I don't know.
Wow.
Jay, probably. That's about it. Dragons came out of the blocks fast and never let up. It seemed as though the shackles had been released, along with no longer having Benji on the handbrake. Widdop had led the team around the park and had a return to form we hadn't seen in a while. He also equalled the club record for points in the game, 22.
Well,
half of the points scored. There you go. Well done.
We got another one in on this, Mark.
Yeah, Lee Whitnell said Gareth Widdop played a blinder in this game against the much fancied Panthers. Exactly the kind of accomplished string pulling that I'd hoped to see in the Four Nations. Hopefully good signs for an important year ahead for him and for England.
Wonderful. Okay, up in North Queensland then the Cowboys were 20 points to 16 winners over the Canberra Raiders.
You must have seen the finish of this one on social media.
Yes. No, I haven't.
So it went to the Raiders, by the way, had a few players out in this game. Elliot Whitehead was playing in the centres, but put in a try assist there. Josh Hodgson with 43 tackles, 1 try assist for him too. I watched bits of this game before I had to get on the road on Saturday, and the Raiders were really strong considering they were missing a few players in their lineup against a full strength Cowboys side. Went to Golden Point extra time. Jonathan Thurston looked like he was set up to kick another game-winning drop goal. It hit the underside of the bar.
Right.
Bounced into the turf. Landed just inside the goal line. And it was Cooper, I think, who came through and touched it down for a try. So what was inches away from a drop goal to win it, or could have done anything, could have been a 7-tackle set for the Raiders to go the other way. Managed to bounce kindly, and
there you go.
The Roosters, the Cowboys won it,
pulling it out of the bag at the end again.
Yeah, thrilling stuff.
Fair play.
I saw it when I got off. When I got off the plane, got to the hotel, and Emma was faffing, so I went on the internet and was like, "What's this clip that's doing the rounds?" It's unbelievable.
I'll have to have a look back and see that one. Final 3 fixtures in the NRL then saw the Titans being at home by the Sydney Roosters 32 points to 18.
Double debutants, Dan Sargent and 146 metres, Joe Greenwood 12 metres per carry from his 40-minute stint, so I will be watching that one this week sometime as well.
Yes, big big impact off the bench for Joe Greenwood. It was the New Zealand Warriors 26, Newcastle Knights 22, and Manly and the Parramatta Eels rounded off round one with a 20 points to 12 defeat for the for the visiting Eels.
If that's happening in round one to the I can't see either of those sides threatening the 8 this year.
Yeah, perhaps not. Right.
Do you have any predictions for the NRL season as it unfolds this year?
More broadly, or just who's going to win?
Yeah.
I like the Raiders. I fancy Canberra.
I think, obviously, the Cowboys and the Storm will be there or thereabouts.
You'd expect the Broncos to have a strong year, but Canberra look to be building something. In perhaps not in the same sense in terms of the style of play, but in the sense that you can see at Castleford there's obviously a 3 or 4 year project at play. There seems to be a project and a consistency building at Canberra.
Definitely, the Roosters bouncing back into to form as well.
Yeah, they're due a good season, aren't they?
Well, last year was disrupted by off-the-field incidents and injuries to key forwards, but interesting stuff.
Absolutely. Right, that is the world of Rugby League well and truly covered. Let's take a look to the future. And we bring you our predictions for round 4 of Super League. Right then, Mark, round 4 of Super League. The season is well and truly underway, and we start on Thursday night down at the Halliwell Jones as winless Warrington take on your Wigan Warriors. I expect I know which way you're going to go with this, but what do you say?
Well, with the injuries that we know we've got and then the people that are questionable, it looks like we could have up to 8 or so for first string kind of players out there, but of course few of them have missed start of the season. Maybe Liam Forsyth or Tom Davies, who's been playing at Swinton, will come in and have a go for Wigan in the outside backs, and you might see Roman Navarrete or Joe Brereton get their first goes of the season in the first team. Will be interesting to see what team we put out. Warrington are still probably going to be out without a couple of their players too, but they're playing with, by and large, the team they've been playing with all season, aren't they? So you'd probably give them slight favourites, even though one team's unbeaten and the other team's without a win. So I'm going to go 26 points to 22 in favour of Wigan, because I don't tip against Wigan.
No.
And we've shown we can win games, basically, and Warrington haven't shown that to me yet this year. Wigan's halfback combination will be intact, and that has been a very good start to the year from those two players. And, Sam Powell and Morgan Escaré completing that sort of spine, all be performing well as well.
Yeah. No, you've just summed up exactly the point I was going to make. The halves will make the difference, I think, in this one. Both teams are missing players in key positions and key players as well, more broadly from their sides. So I think it's going to come down to what's going on in the heads of both sets of players. At the moment, Wigan will feel every confidence going into this and nothing but pressure on Warrington Wolves to achieve something and get something out of the game, which I don't think is going to happen. I've gone for a 4-point victory as well, slightly lower scoring. I'm not sure what the weather's given up to do, but I'm going to go with 20 points to 16.
Well, we're totally fingers in the air guessing, aren't we? Last week proved.
Yes, Monday night.
With the way we don't know who's playing. I haven't even read enough to know who's playing for the other teams.
There you go.
Friday night.
Yeah, Friday night sees Hull FC taking on St Helens, Mark. One of the games I enjoy watching. There's a bit of passion between these two sides when they face off with each other. They share a lot of history, don't they? Saints were unconvincing for me. Well, they share a lot of with the Steve Prescott stuff.
Okay.
They share the derby and the trophy and all that lot. So it's a motive.
Oh yeah, it's the first leg of the Steve Prescott.
There you go. So it's a motive for both sets of fans and the clubs. Hull FC, admittedly against the depleted Huddersfield side, looked a lot more fluent this week and racked up a big score. St Helens, conversely, didn't do enough to convince me that they can beat Hull FC given their performance against Wakefield. There's a lot of questions about St Helens in the house at the moment in terms of their experience levels. Theo Fard can't do it all on his own, and the young lad Richardson has come in and done a good job, but I think they might find that they're under some pressure from Hull's pack in this one, so I'm going to go for a fairly strong Hull FC win, 30 points to 10.
I think Hull's pack, is good. I think Saints' pack will match Hull's pack a bit better than maybe you seem to be expecting, but it is in those half-back positions where you don't know how much trust you have for the young pairing at Saints compared to the more experienced pairing at Hull, and then you look through the whole back division, it's a bit more settled. The lineup that you expect Hull to play at this stage as we're looking on. So I'm going to go 30 points to 20 in favour of Hull FC, but I do think Saints will score a few more than you've tipped.
Right, okay. At the same time then, down at Headingley, Leeds Rhinos take on the Catalan Dragons, and every fibre of my being tells me that Catalan Dragons will probably win this one and should win this one based on performances and form so far, which is why I'm tipping a Leeds victory, scraping through by 2 points. Law of averages dictates that they're going to come good at some point, given the calibre of players that they've got at their disposal, even when they're going through a relatively serious injury crisis. And it's potentially a rainy Friday night over in Leeds. So I'm going to go for the Rhinos, based mainly on a gut feeling more than anything else. I see them just getting a slender, scrappy win in. I just don't fancy this game at all. I see it being scrappy fodder, to be honest. I'm glad it's not on television. 20 points to 18 for me.
Yeah, I'm going with a 2-point victory for the Rhinos too. Not because I think they'll come good. I just think Catalans aren't exactly a great flowing side at the moment this year anyway, and Leeds have found ways to win a couple of games they probably shouldn't already this year, and I think that this will fit under that category. So 26-24 in favour of the Rhinos.
There you go.
I don't know why I picked so many points actually. Your scoreline makes more sense now reading it, but yeah, that's what I've got.
Okay, thank you. The final game on Friday night sees Lee take on Huddersfield. If there is a time for a workmanlike performance to take on a depleted, injury-riddled Huddersfield side and get a slender victory, Friday night is it for the Leeds Centurions. I think they do have some industry about them. If they can cut some errors out and shape up the discipline, they should have enough to see off this Huddersfield side that is patched up, to say the least. I'm going 18 points to 14 in favour of the Lathers.
Yeah, 20 points to 12 in favour of Lee for me, but very similar thought pattern to you. I just think if there's a time to play Huddersfield, it's now. The thing that'll be crucial is if Lee can start the game well, but that's what's crucial with Lee in every game that they're going to play, because the errors and the penalties and the age of that side will catch up on them in every single game they do play, you feel. But I just think that Huddersfield have got too many people missing, and Lee have got a few little bits of creativity that they can kick on in the key areas, just enough to score the points.
Okay, so we take a break on Saturday and come back on Sunday for Wakefield at home against Salford. Credited Wakefield with some improvement in the way in which they game managed things on Friday against St Helens, but I'm going to tip against them, Mark, because Salford's win against Warrington was impressive, and I think that Salford, nominally were a top 8 side last season, will probably go to Wakefield and get a result. I'm going for, again, relatively low scoring, 18 points to 12 in favour of the Red Devils.
I'm tipping Salford to 28 points to 20. I'm going to go with, and it has been swayed by the Warrington win, but also the fact that I've seen Salford play this season, and all I've seen is snippets of Wakefield play. So until I've seen Wakefield properly, I'm judging them purely on paper, whereas Salford I'm judging with a little bit more perspective, I think. Yeah. That's what's edging me to go for them in this game.
There you go. Okay, final game of the weekend then sees Widnes taking on Castleford down at the Select Security Stadium. I've gone for a 30 points to 12 victory in favour of the visiting Cass side. They're on fire at the moment, Mark. I think they'd be a match for most teams on the planet the way they played last week, and if they can replicate 80% of that performance level, then they'll have more than enough to see off the Widnes Vikings, who were creditable with their draw against the Catalan Dragons, but this is a very, very different outfit that they're coming up against in Castleford.
That side, on that pitch, Cass running on a fast track, if the forwards can still exert the sort of influence over Widnes at all, the backs will just have a field day. I'm going to go 34 points to 14. I'm in favour of Cass. I'm really tempted to go down and watch this game. It's a big temptation because you don't want to miss a Castleford game at the moment. They're playing that well.
Yeah, that's it. And you know the way to win this after last week, don't you?
Yeah.
There you go.
I knew the way anyway, Thomas.